So let's continue. Pastor Piper says, quote, "The path to love is not works of law." In other words, these are Pastor Piper's sentiments. In other words, the way to pursue love is by focusing on the transformation of the heart, right? Catch this. By focusing on the transformation of the heart and the conscience and the awakening and strengthening of faith. So again, it's great if you're pursuing Torah. If you don't believe in Jesus just yet, if you don't really know God and the pardon of your sins, if you don't know Him yet, at the very least, if you're pursuing Torah obedience or Torah loyalty or covenant loyalty or something like that, that's a proper path to be on. That's the train you want to be on, right? That's the train you want to catch. That's part of the mechanism that's going to bring you into a knowledge of Messiah as God breaks down your will as you're seeking to be obedient to Him. He's going to use the Torah as a tool to lead you to Messiah. This is the way Paul describes one of the Torah's functions in the book of Galatians. It's going to get in your face and show you over and over again where you fail God and where you fall short, right? That's one of its roles. But at the same time, it's going to continue to show you who the teacher of righteousness truly is by highlighting your sin, your shortcomings, your failings, and the fact that God has a substitute for your sin. The fact that God has an answer to the dilemma that you're going to find yourself in as you get closer and closer to God, as you keep pressing in to know God, if you indeed truly are seeking Him and not just seeking your own self-righteousness, right? Like a lot of people are blinded to that. Unfortunately, many Torah-observant Jews aren't really serving God in their Torah obedience. They're actually serving themselves, or they're serving their rabbis, or they're serving their communities, or they're serving Judaism as a religion, or, you ready for this? They're serving the Torah itself. They have many, many idols. There are numerous idols in rabbinic Judaism. I was listening to a rabbinic Jewish, watching a rabbinic Jewish YouTube video about a celebration of bringing a certain amount of Talmud study to a close and embarking on a new round of Talmudic study. Right? They reached kind of a milestone, and I was watching it. It happened this year, and I was watching it, and there was rabbi after rabbi hit the pulpit and talked about how great all their teachers were in the past, and how great the Talmud was, and how great the Torah is, and how great Jewish life is. And I'm thinking, good grief, where's God in all of that, right? Their idolatry is wrapped around themselves, right? The rabbis of past, the rabbis of ancient teachings, and how that they make those guys into idols, and the idolatry of serving the Torah itself as an idol, the idolatry of serving the Talmud, the idolatry of serving Judaism and keeping the commandments itself has become an idol. And so shame on them. It looks all spiritual on the outside, might even look rather even inspiring. And I'm not trying to judge them and say that they don't have any place in God's plans, but Pastor Piper's hitting the heart of it right here. The transformation of the heart, the transformation of our spirit, the transformation of the conscience, the way Paul termed it in Romans 12, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? If that doesn't take place, and there's not that what Pastor Piper calls the awakening and strengthening of faith, well, then you're going through motions that aren't going to improve your lifestyle. In the end, you're going to be disappointed when you meet God, because He's going to say to you in Yeshua's words, "Depart from me, I never knew you." Right? Matthew 25, as He separates the sheep from the goats. You don't know God if you don't know Yeshua. That's the bottom line. So Pastor Piper continues, love is not pursued first or decisively by focusing on a list of behavioral commandments and striving to conform to them. And again, speaking to unbelieving Jewish people or unbelieving Israel, this hurts. This hurts, right? This cuts to the quick. God is saying in His word, right? If you want to pursue me in righteousness, then you first need to surrender your own will. You need to let go of the steering wheel and let me take control. And I will take over. I will transform you. I'll renew your mind. I'll move my spirit in. I'll do that heart surgery that Ezekiel talks about, that Jeremiah hints at, removing the heart of stone and replacing with a heart of flesh, the heart that God can write His words on, right? That type of transformation is going to allow love to be pursued in its proper fashion and decisively, like Pastor Piper says, not by focusing on a list of behavior commandments. Remember, Paul said in 2 Corinthians chapter 3, he talks about we serve the newness of the Spirit, not in the oldness of the letter, right? It's because the letter kills, but the Spirit brings life. I'm paraphrasing what he talks about there in 2 Corinthians chapter 3.